guys, more news in the world of MMA. We have a big announcement happening on the MVP card. Of course, some other stuff happening in the world of MMA. So I thought, why not get my good buddy Mike Heck from MMA Fighting back on the program to react to all of it. Mike, it feels like we've got some momentum in the MMA game, some weird announcements, some big announcements, and it's an exciting time kind of for MMA fans right now, combat sports fans.
Yeah, it's very interesting because if you said that like 5 days ago, I probably wouldn't have agreed with you. There was such horrendous momentum heading into UFC Vegas 114 coming off of that UFC pay-per-view or numbered event we just had with the BMF title fight. But UFC Vegas 114 ended up being the best card of the year, which is insane to say that an Apex card was the best card of 2026 so far for the UFC. And any momentum that they garnered heading into London was just taken away from them by MVP and Nate Diaz and Mike Perry today. So what a time. What a time. Things are very, very interesting right now here in 2026.
Isn't it crazy? I know people are going to be like, man, stop complaining, stop moaning in the comment sections. I've been getting a lot of that lately. I don't know where this is coming from. Like, I'm just trying to react to what's happening around us. And one of the things that I've noticed is how easy is it lately for other organizations to come in and steal the spotlight from the UFC? Like, I feel like Real American Freestyle did that heaps with the Armin situation. That did bigger traffic than the, like, not often can you say something does bigger traffic than the UFC. Lately, it's becoming quite regular. Like the RAF situation with Armin, that was the hot topic. People were clicking into that. I saw your coverage of that. Outdid a lot of the UFC coverage that you guys have had. And now we're going into London. It should be a big card, but the UFC decided not to stack the deck. They've barely promoted really this main event. I saw a UFC post, I think, asking if the winner of this is fighting for the title. Like a UFC post asking this is just so stupid. They should be like, the winner is fighting for the belt. They should be profiling Alex Volkanovski. They should be getting Alex Volkanovski down their cage. You know what I mean? Like building this into a big fight. We've got MVP on MMA Fighting. I saw on your channel saying how he's underwhelmed by his experience in the UFC and how he's on the card. And now MVP jumps in with this announcement and steals everything times 100 by announcing Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry on the MVP card. Like, this was not a regular thing, right, Mike, before? People being able to steal the narrative from the UFC to this extent so often?
No, it hasn't. I mean, that's what happens when you've been the only game in town for a while. And I know, like, Bellator is around and PFL is kind of still around, but they can't steal headlines. They just can't. Like, even when Patchy Mix was on a run and they had Corey Anderson as champion, now I know he's PFL champion, and you know, Johnny Eblin was doing what he was doing. Like, there was a time where it was like, oh, Bellator's kind of interesting because, like, maybe they have the best fighter in the world in, like, 3 different divisions. Like, no one truly thought that, but they would listen to you, right? That's when times were, like, really, really interesting. But it's very rare outside of maybe PFL signing Francis Ngannou. The Jake Paul thing was super weird. Maybe Dakota Ditcheva on her rise. Like, it's not, and even then, like, it got headlines, but it didn't steal any thunder from the UFC. It just made, like, with Dakota, it was just like, man, Dakota's really good. Imagine what she could do in the UFC. Like, it always comes back to them. But now it's totally different. It's unfortunate for the UFC, and I've thought about this a lot, and I know a lot of people have been calling, because I get it too, like, oh, you're being negative, you guys complain about everything, all of that. The things we were saying 18 months ago, everybody's saying now outside of like 1% of the MMA community, that they're not trying, that they're not putting forth an effort. And I'm going to say something that no one's going to believe I'm saying right now. I kind of feel for Dana White right now. I kind of feel for him because from what I think everything Ronda Rousey said at that press conference was absolutely true. That Dana is not part of the day-to-day operations. He's sort of, obviously he's in the meetings when they sign sponsorships. He's the one that's like helping facilitate the UFC White House card. And perhaps he's the guy who made all the decisions. But good Lord, man, they have TKOified the UFC to no end. It's not even like a UFC numbered card used to feel like a WrestleMania. It feels like every Saturday feels like Monday Night Raw, where it's just like, oh, maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. Hopefully there's like 1 or 2 good segments that we can at least talk about. But for the most part, it's got to be like a B-, C+ kind of a show with like 1 or 2 good things that happened. And I hate that. Like, I'm so bummed that this is where we're at right now. I want the UFC to be great. I want to go on every post show on a Saturday like Jed and I did this past Saturday, where it was a fun card. You could tell the matchmakers actually put forth an effort to book like the right kind of a card. Like the good fights were good. The squash matches were real squashy. Like everything about that Apex card is like the formula of what every Apex and Fight Night card should be, outside of it being 14 fights, which is crazy and too many. But yeah, man, I can't believe that we're kind of here right now. And I know it's early in the year, but it's so bizarre that the UFC, like, you have to have like the broadcast and like digital partners come out and try to shit on this MVP news. Like, they're out here, we're like, this is bad for the sport, and oh, this is sad, and all this stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
When did this happen? Sorry, I missed this.
I'm not gonna like mention names, but like, it's out there. Like, it's out there.
Oh, wow.
You see like the people who are like, you know, very pro UFC, they get like different kinds of access than like you and I would get covering a UFC event, and they're out here like poo-pooing the MVP card and Nate Diaz, Mike Perry fight. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we have a promotion that's actually trying. And Dennis, the most important thing that MVP is doing here is they're having fun. Like, they're creating potential fun for us. What's wrong with that? This is great for the sport.
Oh, dude, this is huge for the sport. And by the way, just going off Ronda Rousey, this was her latest tweet. Welcome to the revolution, Nate Diaz. It's fighters versus the establishment. And we're going to win May 16th only on Netflix. I mean, come on, dude. This is like promotion 101, and Ronda Rousey is absolutely nailing it. Then the PS underneath, that's a salty one. Hunter Campbell, hashtag pissed off the wrong bitch. I'm coming for your job, motherfucker. So Ronda Rousey, dude, has gone from a place where you could have argued, all right, like, she's past it, the fans aren't down with her, and she's kind of had this like NWO revolution about her. Like, she's popping up on AEW, she's back in a big way when it comes to this Netflix card, and she's taken this fun promotional route where she's feeling what people are feeling out there. She's seeing the reaction to the Paramount era, the reaction to the TKO situation. And she's back basically jumping in and capitalizing on it and marketing it as us versus them. This is great from Ronda Rousey right here.
I agree. And notice how it's Ronda versus the UFC, but not like the UFC of 2016, the UFC of 2026, where it's not Dana's UFC, it's Hunter's UFC. It's the TKO's UFC, where it's not about pleasing the fans, it's about pleasing the shareholders and those who have stock in the company. Like, it's a different ball game now. It's a different company. It's a different way of doing business in the UFC. And Ronda's just calling it out. Like, she's just saying the things that we've been saying. And people either like it or hate it. And that's the way that it is. But again, this is good for the sport. Having options is good. So now the fighters, like, I guarantee you half of the UFC roster was looking at this fight announcement and thinking to themselves, man, like, I only have 1 fight left in my deal. I might want to fight out this last fight, or I might want to fight out these last 2 fights and see what's going on, because I can assure you this card is going to do mega numbers on May 16th. It's going to do way bigger numbers than the UFC White House is going to do. It's probably going to be the most watched MMA event of all time. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, probably the most watched MMA fight of all time up to this point. And they're going to have so much momentum, and there's no way Netflix at the end of this event is going to say, you know what? Good try, but we're not going to do this again. Of course they're going to do it again. And there's going to be a lot of people knocking on their door this time around. And we don't even know what the rest of the card is. We only know 3 fights right now, Dennis. Like, I have a feeling there's more coming, and it's going to be a wild-ass card. And they don't even need to do much. They can just add a bunch of California regional fighters to the rest of the card, and they're set. They're good, but I have a feeling they're going to add more to this.
What do you make as well of Netflix position? Like, I reckon Netflix has jumped all over this. Like, Netflix is a behemoth, one of the most powerful streaming servers, by far way bigger than Paramount Plus could ever be. And, you know, bigger than the UFC. Like, what are we kidding? And the funny thing is they've got the WWE on there, but they're like fully on through their social media are fully backing this us versus the UFC, we're the underdogs mentality. Like, they're completely on board with this. Isn't this wild?
It's great. again, this is all great. More eyes are gonna be, and again, to me, like, I'm not even looking at this as like, oh, UFC better watch their backs. Here comes MVP. No, because that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous thing to say. But at least more eyeballs will be on the sport of mixed martial arts on May 16th than there ever have been before. And that is good for the sport and the growth of the sport. And yes, this is what Bellator should have done. If Bellator did this MVP playbook, they'd still be in business right now. There would still be a Bellator where it's just you load up cards with like big names, like a whole bunch of them. And then underneath it, you load it up with like these talented fighters on your roster that like are going to be good. But now everybody gets to see them. You don't bury AJ McKee on the prelims. No, you put him in the first main card fight before the three big ones. You did, like, that's what you're supposed to do here. So I love what MVP's doing right now. I know people will be like, oh, you're just shilling for MVP. You hate the UFC. No, this is good. This is fun. They're trying. That's all I ask for from the UFC is just to try. If you try and it's not great, like, I'll give you a pass a little bit more than you just being lazy about stuff. Like, this is good. And hopefully this lights a little bit of a fire under the UFC. Hopefully we get a Conor McGregor announcement or something. Like, how could you not be feeling any heat right now if you were in the UFC boardroom right now? How could you not feel the negativity that is going on within the fan base? It is so loud. I've never seen it like this. I've never seen it like this. In all the years of watching the sport and covering the sport, where the fan base is just so down on the product. It feels like pro wrestling. It feels like being a pro wrestling fan right now, not an MMA fan. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little bit like when the WWF was whack and then WCW came in with Nitro, this and that, and then kind of forced them to be better. It is interesting though, right? Because we'll talk about the White House card versus this MVP card in just a second. But I saw Alex Pereira was on Errol Hawani's show, and here's an MMA junkie graphic talking about the new deal that they gave him. I don't care about letting go of the belt or anything like that. They took really good care of me. The way they gave me this last contract was so good, I left it up to them to do whatever they want. So basically, they've locked up Alex Pereira. It's a new 8-fight deal, right? Surely they're giving him a good bunch of coin for that one, in the millions for sure, because if Alex Pereira is somehow out of the UFC on one of these MVP cards, like, could you imagine that? God, man, what Jake Paul and MVP would do with Alex Pereira in this MMA promotion would be insane. Do you imagine now that MVP's out there signing some of these guys, and you mentioned some of these guys are down to their one fight or whatever on their contract, do you think the UFC is going to try to throw a little bit more money at some of their bigger names to try and stop them from jumping ship? Or do you reckon they're still like, look, we're the behemoth, we have to cut costs, let them go, let them do whatever?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain fighters are going to do that with. Like, you can't, like, of all the fighters on their roster right now, you like, Alex Pereira is probably the one you can't afford to lose. And I think they're looking internally of like what the promotion could look like 2 years from now. And I don't think Ilia Topuria is going to be fighting anymore. Like, I think he's going to go knock out Justin Gaethje. He's going to go fight Islam Makhachev, and he's not going to fight ever again. Like, not in MMA. Maybe he'll go box or something, but he's done. Like, I don't think he's got much left, and he doesn't need to fight. Like, he's just got to milk this for what it's worth. He's got to take what he can from it, and then he's gone. I don't think we're going to get 2 years of Islam Makhachev either. I think he's going to be done in a couple of fights. He's going to kind of follow the Khabib route and end things with on top with a glorious career and the things he's accomplished. But like Alex Pereira, like, you need him right now. You need him. The face of the organization is not a fighter. It is Dana White. Even though he's not running the day-to-day, they have positioned Dana as the face of the UFC. Alex Pereira has done nothing but favors for them. He has been the model employee. He's delivered time and time again for them. He has become their go-to guy. Like, if you're going to position anybody to be sort of your star, it's Alex. So yes, lock him down, because again, you may not even have him in 2 years. He's not a spring chicken. He ain't 27. He's probably got maybe 3 years left in him. So they're just going to lock him up and make sure that his entire fighting career the rest of the way is with them, which I think is very, very smart. But we're still going to get 52 fighters signed on the Contender Series this fall or summer. And then they're going to let go a bunch of other fighters that are like 4-0 in the UFC but have no finishes. that's just what the business has become. They're going to lock certain names down, and then that's it. They're going to try to make fetch happen with certain fighters. Sean O'Malley. That's why he's fighting on the White House card against Eamon Zahabi. Like, they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep trying to get their guys over and try to get the quote unquote, we're going to try to build new stars and all of this. They're going to keep trying to make Patty Pimblett a thing. Like, they're going to keep trying to do this stuff, but people are starting to see through it. So I think this is a great move by the UFC to lock Alex Pereira down. They absolutely need to keep him. And yeah, can you imagine if like Pereira beats Cyril Gane and he's just like, yeah, that was my last fight left in my deal. I'm a free agent. Come get me. Like, that'd be so sick. But now the UFC smartly locked him up. And look, I think he would make way more money elsewhere, more than likely. But hey, he's happy, and that's good. That's good. It's a little different. We haven't seen a lot of happy fighters in 2026, and Alex seems to be very happy. So good for him.
I'm having a look through the rankings here. So they're going to try to lock up. I mean, they've locked up Alex Pereira. Who else would they try to lock up?
They got Jones locked up.
Tom Aspinall, they'll try to lock him up, right? There's no way they'll let him go.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
You reckon they might? Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're like, all right, we got Alex Pereira. I don't know. I mean, apart from Tom Aspinall, because I mean, at least he's young. The division is old. Outside of that, I'm just looking through the pound for pound list. Who do you think if MVP could get next, right? Who do you think would be the most strategic and smartest signing for them from the pound for pound list? I'll bring it up here for us to have a look at. Because I think with who knows how this thing's going to go, right? But with MVP, they know that they've got some cash. They know that fighters are unhappy. And surely at the end of these contracts, a lot of these fighters are going to be looking to see if they can make some cash if this thing goes to plan, right? So let's have a look here. So Islam Makhachev will stay in the UFC. Ilia Topuria, UFC. Hamzat, I think he's locked down with the UFC, right? He's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Volkanovski, maybe once he's done. He's on a pretty big contract, though.
Yeah, he just signed a new deal. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Pereira's signed. Piotr Jan, I don't think they'd go for. Aspinall, they'd go for. Maybe like a Marab, a Pantoja. I don't know. It's not really going to draw.
Drickus would be good.
Drickus, Carlos Oliveira, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think Charles seems like a super loyal dude, so I don't think Charles would do that. I think you should probably lock Charles down too. Like, no matter where he's at in his career, the fans just love him. Like, they absolutely love him. I don't think they'd really jump on any of these guys. Maybe Max Holloway. I think
Holloway
I was looking would probably be the name, but again, Holloway seems like a dude that is kind of loyal to the UFC. They've put him in really good spots, but yeah, if somehow they're like, hey, you could either stay with us or take a shot with MVP, and if Max Holloway left, they would lock him up in 5 seconds, and they should.
Yeah, if anything, they'd probably just go for the lightweight division, right?
Because that's a bad idea.
That's where a lot of the aging, sort of bigger names that UFC has a lot of unhappy people. I wonder how many fights Arman has left on his contract. He would have signed a new one.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
You could make a case if you're locking down fighters. Arman Sarukian is technically one of the most popular fighters that they have right now in their roster that's not fighting.
He would be my first. Honestly, he would be my number. Like if for some reason MMA had like an they let MVP have like an expansion draft and like draft 8 fighters, but like the UFC can lock down like 4 or 5 because they're not locking Arman down. Arman would be my first pick in a second. Like, with no brainer first selection in the draft is Arman Sarukian. I think he's the best lightweight in the world already. Plus he's super popular. I think pound for pound, he's the funniest guy on the entire roster. He can promote a fight. He's an absolute maniac, what he wants to be and needs to be. I think he's like an absolute no-brainer to put on this card, to put on this promotion. I mean, Miesha Tate, I think would make a lot of sense, honestly. Just because of the Ronda feud, like maybe you could, if you want to get one more fight out of Ronda, I think she'd probably fight Miesha again. Someone like a Juliana Pena, where like there's no gray area with her. You either like her or you don't. Like there's certainly there, but again, like they don't have any stars. Derek Lewis would probably be another one that they would jump all over because everybody loves that guy.
Derek Lewis, here we go. Lightweight that also take Justin Gaethje probably down the track and throw him on the card when he sort of flies out of the UFC system.
Yeah,
maybe a Dan Hooker. Or you think like a Dan Hooker, maybe a Michael Chandler, maybe Yeah, it's slim pickings, isn't it, right
I
now?
mean,
Yeah, Max Holloway. I don't know. It's really funny, actually. When you talk about creating stars and the UFC doing that, they haven't done a very good job of that lately.
Yeah.
What do you... Let's just talk about the fight for a second. So for people that saw Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry, I love this fight, man. I think this fight is awesome. Great matchup for Nate Diaz. Great matchup for Mike Perry. I listened to your reaction show with Jed Meshew, and apparently there's some fans out there who believe this is a bad fight for Nate Diaz. I reckon this is great, dude. And you brought up the fact that Mike Perry has to cut down to welterweight. I think welterweight as well is where it's at, right? Who knows what's going to happen with Conor in his contract, and the off chance he is able to get out. And I think Nate, when it comes to MMA, this gives him a good opportunity to go out there and win.
Yeah, I think I think this is perfect matchmaking. Like, I talked to a couple people on Nate's team, and they were like, "You like it?" I'm like, I think it's great. Like, this is perfect matchmaking. Like, Mike might hurt him, but Nate could just tackle him. And Nate's a sneaky good boxer, and he's got good leg kicks. And as Jed pointed out on our reaction show, Nate Diaz is excellent in the clinch. Something that Mike, outside of just like the normal BKFC boxing one-handed plum clinch that's you can only have for like 5 or 10 seconds, he hasn't been in like that sort of clinch situation with a guy like Nate in a long time, man. So I like this matchup. It's two guys who haven't had an MMA fight in a combined like 9 years. Because Perry hasn't fought. I mean, Perry's been out of MMA longer than Nate's been out of MMA, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, like this is really good. You get two dudes who will sell this fight. Nate's clearly on the back nine, but still got something left. Mike is just a great name to put on a poster, and he hits real hard, and he'll say a bunch of stuff, and he's the king of violence. Like, that alone is a selling point. And then there's just kind of questions like, will Nate be able to get Mike down? If he does, what happens there? Like, I have questions about is it going to be a technical masterpiece? No, but again, it will be fun. There's no way that is not fun. And the build, the aftermath, and the fight will be fun. It will be fun. And I'm here for fun. I want as much fun in MMA as possible. What Hype Brazil just did last week, everybody should be doing that. That was the best. I had so much fun watching Hype Brazil. MVP is being fun. PFL needs to be more fun. MVP's coming in. They've heard the criticism from everybody. They're like, you know what? We're going to put big names on this card, but we're going to have fun. We're going to do fun things. And that's what they're trying to do.
Who else would you add to this MVP card, do you think? Who else is out there right now, right? Nate was the big one. He was the big signing. Mike Perry, he's quite well known. He's been doing this thing with BKFC. If we're adding one or two people to it, what are we doing? We're throwing some legends on there. We're doing Anderson Silva. I'd throw Anderson Silva on there. He's got that new documentary coming out. Maybe do like Anderson. Do you just do him and Chris Weidman for a bit of fun? They've been meaning to fight each other for a while. Or maybe Anderson versus some other fun matchup.
Yeah, I don't think Anderson wants to, and I don't know this for a fact, but if I had to, just based on conversations, like I've interviewed him a couple of times, I don't think he wants to compete in MMA anymore. Like, I think he's happy just boxing at this point. I mean, the dude's 50 years old and just having the time of his life out there, and he's winning. He's like nuking people in boxing. He's getting good paydays. Like, he's doing great boxing. Like, why even go in there and compete in MMA where, like, if MVP needs a guy for a Jake Paul card, the first phone call is going to be to Anderson Silva. So he's fine. He's still got that hunger to compete, but he doesn't need to compete all the time. So I don't think they'll put him on there. I think. What
about Vitor Belfort? Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort.
Nah, because I just don't think Anderson's going to fight. I just don't think Anderson will do MMA. I think he's fine boxing, and he'll still compete on an MVP card. Darren Till, I think, would be like a great name to throw on this card.
Right,
like, he's. I don't. You could do Till Woodley 2 on that card. Like, that's fun. Or just get Darren a win, man. Like, Darren Till versus some dude who once fought in the UFC. And then you could set up like a whole bunch of different, you could set up a Mike Perry, Darren Till MMA fight. Like, we've been circling the wagons with these two guys in multiple disciplines. MMA is like the happy medium for both of them. So perhaps like we could do something like that. So I kind of feel like, I don't know. I don't think they need to do much more. I think you just
Yoel Romero?
If you're going to do Vitor, Yoel's the guy to fight Vitor. Like, I think you do that fight. But again, I don't think you need that. I think at this point, maybe one more. Like, I could see Anthony Pettis fighting on this card. Pettis just seems like a dude that ends up there. I think what you need to do is you need to find like fun fighters, like may not be well known. Get on the horn with LFA, get on the horn with Up Next Fighting, and you find like Gianni Vasquez had a great fight in his UFC debut on like 3 days notice, and the UFC is just like, all right, you're done here, but we're going to keep our eye on you. Like, Gianni is always in fun fights. So, like, someone like that should be on the card. Like, you need to load this up with, like, bangers. Like, bangers. Even if you don't know who the fighters are, you have to watch this event and be like, all right, that fight rocked. Ooh, that fight was really good. And, like, this is what you do. Like, this is the opportunity to, if you are going to be an MVP MMA organization, we're going to keep firing out MVP MMA cards. You have to start building stars of your own, too. So, yeah, find some, like, good, fun, undefeated regional scrappers. Steal guys the Contender Series is trying to get. Like, this would be great. You want to slap the UFC in the face? Steal some of the regional prospects that you know the UFC is going to try to target for Contender Series. Dana has more fun with Contender Series than he does with the UFC right now. Can you imagine the reaction if he's just like, ooh, we're talking to these people about a Contender Series fight. No, you're not, because you're going to come fight for us. We're going to pay you a bunch more money. Like, that's how you get the UFC. That's how you really get Dana's attention. So, but we'll see. I think we'll get another name or two, but just find some, like, really fun regional fighter. Like, if Cedric Doumbé could fight and like isn't locked under PFL contract, like Doumbé would be like perfect for this card. Just line up somebody for him to head kick unconscious. And that's like the type of stuff that this card needs right now. So yeah, just fun stuff, all fun scraps and big knockouts. That's what we're looking for here.
I would just get them all down there, like have Masvidal, Eddie Hall, just all the big names that you can come up with for potential people. Just have them all sitting cage side, have them all ready to go.
God,
and
if they get Eddie Hall.
Dude, but why not? Why
I love
not?
this. That is my everything. Francis versus Eddie Hall is my everything, Dennis. That is my everything. I don't want
cash in on that one quickly, then do the other
one. I
one.
love this.
And then while I'm talking about that Gable, right? We don't know what's happening with him. You and Jed broke down that the UFC surely has him on some kind of developmental deal. At the same time, right, he is a part of Jon Jones's team where he knows how much he's worth. They're not going to let the UFC lock him down unless they're paying premium dollars for this. For MVP, when you got Francis Ngannou, now you can start really building out a real heavyweight division here. Yeah, Gable down there. Dude, that's a pretty big slap in UFC's face if he's locked down and can't go into the UFC this year or next year, right? Like that's a pretty big win for Jake Paul and the crew.
I'll tell you right now, after all this news has come out, the UFC better be on the horn with Gable's team saying like, hey, you're fighting at the White House. Like maybe we don't have an opponent yet, but you're fighting at the White House. If he is not fighting at the White House and not fighting on this card, like this is a disservice to this man. Unless he's like really hurt and we don't know, like this is like a big injury that we're not aware of. This man has to fight on the White House. Like holding him off till International Fight Week is a gigantic mistake. It's obviously a big platform for him, but if he's not on the White House card, like what are we doing here? Like that is the perfect place to do an Olympic gold medalist. That's exactly where you debut him, on that friggin' card. So yeah, he's going to be interesting. If MVP can lock up Gable for a fight on this card, it'd be so impressive. I'd be livid because my fantasy team goes to shambles because I thought Gable was like the sneakiest draft pick of all time. But yeah, what a huge coup it would be if MVP can lock him up.
Can I just quickly say as well, people are going to talk shit about me in the comments over this, but I feel like Jake Paul and MVP, Netflix, TKO, they have that deal with the WWE. Of course, TKO also owns the UFC, but I don't know what the rules are around Brock Lesnar with the WWE, but if I'm Jake Paul and I'm just looking to put fun fights together, Brock Lesnar is still one of the biggest draws in the WWE. Like I could do him versus Eddie Hall. Do you know what I'm saying? Or I could do him versus Francis, or you know what I'm saying? Like I could just throw him at the thing for the next big card. Why not? Give him a couple of million.
That'd be very sick. However, they're still in California. We still have to treat this like an actual MMA event. So they are going to be drug tested and all of that stuff. Like that's all part of it. It is California. I know things have changed quite a bit over the last couple of years when it comes to Andy Foster and crew, but there's they're still going to drug test people. And, you know, I don't know what Brock Lesnar is on, but if you watched him on WWE TV, more likely than not, I think is a fair thing to say. So, yeah, I think Brock's had his last MMA fight. It would be sick if they could do it, but yeah, I don't see it happening.
Sign him for the next one versus Eddie Hall. Then no one feels bad about anyone being on anything.
God,
put them somewhere. All right, so we've got the triple header here. This is the triple header, obviously, for MVP, and this is the card for the UFC White House. Obviously, the White House has, you know, Ilia Topuria, although he's fighting Justin Gaethje, so the matchup maybe isn't the hottest, but we get to see him fight again. Alex Pereira versus Ngannou is a sick matchup. And then when you go down the card, there's some fun fights like Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia. I'm not the biggest like Bo Nickal, Daukaus. I'm not jumping out of my seat for that one. I think O'Malley versus Ayman's fine. And I think Rufi versus Chandler is another mismatch. It'll be fun, but it's not like, I'm not going crazy over it. I think the two top fights, of course, have more meaning to the more hardcore world of MMA. But how do those two fight cards compare to you when it comes to interest and how many people will be excited outside of that hardcore bubble?
I mean, the Netflix card is going to blow UFC White House out of the water in terms of viewership. Like it's got to be apples and oranges. How bad they're going to like triple up the White House. I really think it's going to do big numbers. It's going to do like 17, 18 million or more. Like, especially with Nate on there, like people underestimate how big of a star Nate is. Like he is a bona fide star. He is probably the biggest star on the entire card. And that includes Ronda Rousey. Like putting him on the card was perfect. For all the people that's like, oh, Ronda hasn't fought in 10 years. She's not that popular anymore because she did WWE and everyone hates her. Now you got Nate, who's like a massive star. So people are going to watch this shit. A whole bunch of them. The UFC card is going to be like better. Like it's going to be a better card, but the MVP card is going to be way more fun. Again, this is about having fun right now. The UFC put together like the safest White House card they could, right? We got one half of everything we could have wanted. We have Ilia Topuria, but he's not fighting Arman or Islam. He's fighting Justin Gaethje. Boy, Gaethje deserves that shot because Gaethje fought Paddy Pimblett, which, by the way, they got half of that right because one of those dudes should have been fighting Arman Tsarukyan as well. And then we have Alex Pereira, who's fighting Cyril Gane. No one called for this. They wanted Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones. We're getting Cyril Gane instead, or Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall. We're getting Plan C again in that fight, but I am obviously fascinated by that one because of the historical stakes behind it. We know exactly what the Sean O'Malley and Zahabi fight is. UFC's trying to get Sean a win, but he might just go and lose. And then Chandler Rufy's just going to be a car crash. I think Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia is like the perfect opening fight. There's no other fight that should open this card. If they add Gable, he should not be the first fight. He should be the second or the third. Let Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia crash into each other. I think that's a perfect opener for this card. I kind of feel like Diego's going to clobber him, but you never know. Steve's looked really good. I will push back on one thing. I am morbidly fascinated by Bo Nickal versus Kyle Daukaus now. I'm actually like excited for it because of what it means for Bo Nickal. Because as I've said, probably on your show and many other shows, if there's one fighter on the UFC roster who needs a pro wrestling manager, it is Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal should not be allowed to speak into a microphone or type anything on social media without somebody telling him what to say first, because he always says the wrong thing. Yeah. And what he did was, the other day, with the whole Colby stuff, just leave it alone, like you've got a fight booked. Instead, you're like, well, we could call the UFC together and push Kyle Daukaus out of the card, and then you can step in. And I'm just like, what a prick. Like, what a prick move that is. And by the way, I said this when they announced this, and I stand by it. Kyle Daukaus can win. Like, he's got a good chance to win this fight because he has fought way better dudes. Kyle just is kind of on one right now, and he's kind of better than Bo at almost everything outside of just the pure wrestling game. So Kyle Daukaus goes out and wins and beats Bo Nickal. He is going to be a friggin' hero to the MMA community. So like, And where does Bo go from here? Like, if Bo loses on the White House to Kyle Daukaus, like, especially when he's like, I don't even want to fight him. I want to fight Colby instead. Like, he's going to look like an idiot. Like, I think I'm not going to say he's done, but, like, he's pretty much cooked if he loses to Kyle Daukaus. So, like, this has become like, outside of the belts being on the line, this is the most high-stakes fight on the card by a mile. And I'm here for it. I didn't think I would be as here for this fight as I am now, but Kyle's doing a great job, like, selling it and making himself look like the everyman. And Bo Nickal kind of looks like the spoiled dude and all this stuff. And, like, by the way, people don't like Colby Covington, but you know what he did today? He gave Kyle the old rub. He gave Kyle the rub. He said, I would never take Kyle's spot. And I think Kyle's going to beat him. Colby puts Kyle Daukaus over. So now you got Colby putting you over too, who doesn't put over anybody. So look at Kyle Daukaus, man. Look at this man. In 2 weeks, he's become like one of the more popular guys on the roster. And if he goes out and beats Bo Nickal, like, he might be everyone's hero. He will win breakout fighter of the year on, like, everybody's websites if he goes out and beats Bo. So I love this fight.
Bo's got everything to lose here.
Everything.
I love Colby. He went for a bit of a face turn in my interview with him a couple of days back, where I just would not let him go on the fact of how fucked the entire situation was. And he kind of switched his persona a little bit and sort of acknowledged it a little bit. But man, can you imagine if Sean O'Malley is sitting on the canvas like Jose Aldo was sitting on the canvas after Amin beat him, just on that White House card, as everybody is watching Amin Zahabi celebrate, and then just the brutalness of that being on the White House card. Like, imagine it just plays out like that for the UFC.
Corey Sandhagen's.
Sandhagen, it's like, all right, I get it. He is a tougher matchup, but Corey goes out there and wins. Boom, great moment. You know, everyone would be celebrating. Sean goes out there and wins. Boom, great moment. Or if they have like a crazy battle, I don't think anyone really loses. You know what I mean? Like, everyone would just have a great time in that fight. Whereas this has the ability of just replicating the whole Aldo moment. And how bad do you feel for Amin, who 38 years old? So, by the way, super impressive that he's still able to fight at this level at 38 years old. Insane. But also is maybe one of the most hated guys because they keep putting him up against these dudes and he's winning. So, like, there's no way for, like, he wins this. Maybe some people in Canada will be cheering by God, man. People are going to be like losing their minds at him. Poor guy.
So I don't have like a lot of hate in my heart for Amin when it comes to Jose Aldo. Like, the hate in my heart when it comes to Jose Aldo is to the matchmakers when they booked the Merab fight. When they booked the Merab fight when he should have fought for the belt was a travesty. Absolute travesty. And then the way they kind of booked Aldo after that, where it was like, all right, he's fighting Jonathan Martinez. Oh, he's fighting Mario Batista. That was horrific. That was horrendous too. And Mario still faces the brunt of that. The Amin fight was actually fun though. Like, it was a good scrap. Like, we're like, oh, that was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Like, Amin got after it in the third round. Like, it was a fun ass fight, like a really fun one. So I think Amin kind of got over a little bit. And then he had the Cheeto fight, which is like super close. A lot of people thought Cheeto won that fight. So now it's just like, well, if he's struggling with Cheeto, like, maybe he's not that good. And he could go in there and beat Sean O'Malley. And, like, much like Bo Nickal, if Sean loses to Amin, like, I wonder if he's done. Like, I wonder if he just says, like, all right, I'm done here. I'll be a streamer the rest of my days and a YouTuber and a Kickster, all those things, whatever the kids are doing these days. Like, Sean can make money outside of fighting pretty damn easily. So if he loses to Amin, what's left for him? Like, he ain't fighting for a belt again if he loses to Amin Zahabi. Like, I don't know how you can justify this. He barely beat Song Yadong, whose Song's really good, but, like, I don't know, man. This is a huge spot for O'Malley, too. He should win. This is, like, as good as he could ask for in terms of matchups and trying to get a win on the White House card. But, boy, it's catastrophic, if he loses this fight. So, yeah, there are weird stakes to this one, but, yeah, definitely not as fun as the MVP card.
So many stakes here, like just going through here. Imagine Justin Gaethje somehow finds a way to win. It's so hard to imagine, but that might be like the story of the last few years, right? One of the best feel-good stories of all time. Like, for Justin Gaethje to come back and on the White House card in the main event, figure out a way to beat Ilia Topuria would be insane, but also brutal for the UFC because Topuria is obviously such a big name. But Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane, so much on the line there. I feel like either way, it's a win for the UFC, but surely if Alex Pereira wins, there's more money in the bank for them. Although I feel like with Gane, people want to see that Tom Aspinall rematch. So there's at least one fight there, but I think Pereira would really give him some of those matchups that they're hoping for in the heavyweight division if he wins.
My concern is if Pereira wins and he's the interim champion, is he going to go? Because he even said it on Ariel's show, like, yeah, I think the Jon Jones fight's still there. Like, if John's going to fight anybody, he's going to fight me. If Tom Aspinall is ready to come back and the UFC books Pereira versus Jon Jones, then what the hell are we doing here? Why do we even make this fight? Like, the winner of this should absolutely fight Tom Aspinall. So hopefully, because Pereira's like, they're taking care of me, let's do what they want. Maybe the UFC will be like, all right, we got to have a little meritocracy here. Like, go fight Tom. Like, let's unify the belts. We cannot keep this division stagnant where there's interim champions like every friggin' 18 months. And then the undisputed champion's not fighting him. Unless, I mean, I know Tom's banged up and stuff. It's a little bit of a different story. But, I mean, if Gane wins, like, it makes the Aspinall fight bigger. So I think, like, the fight itself is a win-win for the UFC because it sets something up big. Either Pereira goes for the undisputed heavyweight title as a 3-division champion, or Cyril Gane beats Alex Pereira heading into the Aspinall rematch where he looked pretty damn good in that first fight before all the eye poke nonsense happened. So yeah, I don't think this is a bad card. I really don't. People are shitting all over it because the biggest problem is the UFC just keeps putting their feet in their mouth. Don't go anywhere. Make sure when we make this announcement, you have your friggin' seatbelt fastened because you're going to fly out of your chair. No. No one flew out of their chair. My socks have still been on my feet since before the UFC Hunt 300 main event was announced. Like, just stop over-promising stuff. Be like, hey, it's going to be a spectacle in the White House. Like, it'll be a fun card, but it's going to be at the friggin' White House. Like, just leave it at that, and people would have looked at that card and be like, oh, this is cool. All right, we're in.
You know, it's funny as well. It's I completely forgot this, but Nate Diaz, 40 years old. He's actually older than what I realized, Mike. I thought he'd be like late 30s, 40 years old. Conor McGregor, 37. From what you understand, speaking to Nate Diaz's team, with this MVP thing, is this a one-fight deal? Like, would he be open to still negotiate with the UFC to be a part of International Fight Week? Or is this a larger deal that sort of prevents him from going back to the UFC for that period?
It's a good question. I'm sure MVP's paying him really well. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in this fight. So, but I think getting Nate is just so big because the UFC was thinking at some point, like, yeah, we got Nate, back pocket fight with Conor. Like, it's there anytime we need it. It's our get out of jail free card. Nope. MVP just snatches him right up. So yeah, I mean, look, the fact that Nate is back working with MVP after, like, him and Jake are fine now, but like Nate Diaz did not have a great time that fight week for the Jake Paul fight. Thought it was a bunch of nonsense. Wasn't like a UFC press conference. Obviously MVP has improved on sort of controlling that stuff and not letting things get unprofessional anymore. So I commend them for that. But there was a time where, like, after that fight was over, I was like, Nate's going back to the UFC. Like, he's going back. The fact that he has not returned and now he's booked another MMA fight with MVP actually speaks volumes to me. So I don't think he's coming back to the UFC. I think this closes the door on all of it. And yeah, get that bag, man. Like, again, Nate's so successful and such a star. He doesn't need to fight at all. And he's only going to fight if the bag is gigantic. And this bag must be pretty damn big.
Dude, he's the ultimate businessman when it comes to the UFC. I'm happy Nate was actually able to find some money towards the end of his career because he was getting so underpaid earlier on. And
Nate is, honestly, dude, Nate is one of the smartest guys I've ever talked to. There was a time, and I've told the story a couple of times, but I can't really dive into like the X's and O's of it, but we were going to do like a little media scrum after the Nate Diaz, Jake Paul press conference. His manager's like, hey, we're going to come here. We'll try to do something. We sat there for Mark Ramundi can tell you the story. Andreas Hale can tell you the story. Mike Bond can tell you the story. We sat there, New York Rick as well. We sat there for a couple of hours just kind of waiting for Nate. And at one point, like, Nate showed up and is just in the hotel lobby. And we're just sitting there waiting for Nate to come over. Finally, his manager, Zach, comes over. He's like, all right, Nate's going to come talk to you guys, but like no cameras. Like he's just going to like hang out with you guys. And Nate comes over and like we had this, like we're just asking just like normal questions. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And we're just like, this dude gets it. I was just like, I was so blown away by that conversation. It was just like, man, this guy, like I always thought he was smarter than people gave him credit for. I'm like, this dude is a friggin' genius when it comes to the fight game and like knowing his worth and knowing his value and like knowing what he wants and doesn't want. It's pretty unbelievable, man. Like good on Nate and everything he's accomplished. All started with a call at a Conor McGregor after he beat the shit out of Michael Johnson on a UFC on Fox card. And now look where he is. Unbelievable.
What was the thing that stood out to you that he said to you guys that surprised you maybe?
No, I mean, nothing like really, like, I don't want to dive into all of it, but there's one point where the thing that I was just like, all right, this dude's for real is that, I forget who it was. Who was it? It was one of the better Derek. Remember Better Derek?
Yeah.
Better Derek asked like a ridiculous question at the press conference, like crazy, unprofessional and like ridiculous. And Nate was like ready to like throw hands with him right there. And they do the face off and everything. And then Nate, we asked Nate about him. And basically he's like, yeah, if that dude goes out tonight, like he's going to get his ass beat because like my boys are all looking for him. And I was just like, this dude is like, it's not a persona. Like this is not like I'm a 209 Stockton gangster. Like there's nothing fake about Nate. There's nothing at all that's just not real about him. So I was just like, there's no way he comes to this fight. Like there's no way. And sure enough, like showed up on Saturday night, sitting there media row, and I'm sitting next to like two of the dudes who work for Better. One of the guys used to be an MMA manager, so I knew him pretty well. And I was like, where's Derek? He goes, yeah, we thought it was a good idea. He doesn't come. I'm like, well, that's pretty friggin' smart. Like that's what like one of my bigger takeaways was like, okay, Nate's who he is on and off the camera. There is no, we don't turn it up to 100. Like he's just 100 all the time. And Nate's the man. Like what else can you say about him?
Yeah, he's a one-on-one. Him and his brother have changed the game for sure. Hey, by the way, before I got a couple of fan questions. I'll let you go.
Sure.
What do you make? I haven't had a chance to look into this properly, but I'm seeing reports of apparently the fights on the White House card not counting to people's official record. Have you read about this? What's the deal with this? Something to do with the commission? I saw
Luke like quote tweet something about it. I don't know. Like that's something I probably have to dive into a little bit more, but yeah, some of the quotes about it were pretty interesting. Like if you want to go against the commission, like the only place you can have a fight in the area is doing it at the White House. So I don't know how it's going to be handled. I would love for Dana to be asked this. I think Dana did an interview with, who did he do an interview with recently? He did an interview. I want to say it's today that it came out with, I don't know, some politician who was like kind of begging to be on the card. Oh, Ted Cruz. He did an interview with Ted Cruz. And I was like, that'd be a great question for Ted to ask Dana about. And of course he didn't. It was like, Dana, you're the man. Can I have tickets? Like all this crap. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw the report. It's around sanctioning fees or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is silly. Surely they'll pay the money for the fights to count to the record. Yeah. Also, it doesn't hurt that they have a like, he could literally call up Donald Trump at any time and ask him anything that he wants. Anyway.
Of course. Yeah.
It would be wild if it didn't, though. It would be wild if it didn't.
Well, then if Kyle Daukaus beats Bo Nickal, it doesn't count.
We're running it again. Ilya Topuria lost to Justin Gaethje somehow, and now we're running it again. All right, quickly, UFC London main event. Who you picking in this Evloev Lerone Murphy fight?
Bozar Evloev, and I actually don't think this. Lerone's good, man. Like he's real good. And I don't want to take anything away from him, but like the one, I guess, kind of hole in his game is something that Movsar Evloev can take incredible advantage of. And as long as Movsar is not injured or anything like that, like I think he wins convincingly. Like I think he wins like 49-46, 50-45. Like that is on the table in my eyes, because Lerone Murphy has like okay takedown defense, but if you have okay takedown defense against Movsar, you are in a world of trouble. So unless he lands a big shot that catches Movsar, and that's always possible, I think Movsar's going to have a great win, and he should get a title fight. Will he get one is another question, but I look, dude, Movsar's the best featherweight in the world. I think he's been the best featherweight in the world. And the thing that unfortunately has hurt Movsar outside of the inactivity is that Dana White confused him and Arnold Allen for two different fighters one night at a post-fight press conference and called it the most boring fight he's ever seen, when he clearly didn't watch that fight, or he clearly wasn't talking about that fight, because Movsar versus Arnold Allen was a good fight. Like, it was probably the best fight on that entire card that night at UFC 297. I mean, I know the main event was super close, but like, in terms of like action and like, ooh, all the swings and stuff, like Arnold Allen, Movsar was awesome. So it's unfortunate he got painted with that brush unfairly, but yeah, I think Movsar's going to win.
I wonder. Imagine they go with Silva, Jean Silva. Maybe they'll go with Aljo if he wins his fight. Who knows, man?
It's a good time, man. Like, Melky Costa and Arnold Allen are fighting. Like, we just got Kevin Vallejos, who that dude's probably going to win the belt. Like, there's vibes. There's certainly vibes around him. Like, I'll tell you what, man. You want to be the UFC? Here's a little advice for you, UFC. Sign Kevin Vallejos to an 8-fight deal and pay him way more than you normally would a guy in his position. Seriously, you got something big with this guy. He is. Don't mess this up.
I just feel bad for Alex Okanovsky. You've got all these young contenders and all these brutal contenders. You know, like, he's trying to see out his career, and he's got some rough fights ahead of him outside of Aljamain Sterling, right? Like, it's a few.
And I like that fight. Like, that fight makes total sense to do Aljo versus Volk.
Dude,
but
if Mosar's injured, let's say, from this fight, and Aljo goes out here and is able to win, Volkanovski wants to stay active because he gets paid so much to fight and he loves it. Why not just do that in the meanwhile? You know?
Yeah. And Volk laid out the red carpet for Movsar. Like, I honestly don't remember another situation where a champion was just like, yeah, man, love my division, want to fight all these guys, but like, Movsar's undefeated, and like, I want to fight the undefeated guy that nobody wants to fight. Like, that will do great for him. He's telling the world, I want to fight him. And then they give him Diego Lopez, and it's like, I just don't get it, man. By the way, I don't know if you saw Jack Slack's tweet, because he was quote tweeting somebody who, you know, is a partner of the UFC, and was like poo-pooing on the fight. And Jack Slack quote tweeted and was like, goes, this MVP card has as many justified UFC title fights this year. And you look at like all of the title fights we have had in 2026, and it's true. Like, there's not like one like legitimate, like, this dude fighting this dude, like, this is the right fight, the best two guys are fighting each other. We haven't had one of those this year. Not one. And I don't think we're going to get one until Josh Van Tetzer or Tyra, I think, is probably one. Like, I would rather see Cop in there, but Tyra's like, if it's not Cop, like, Tyra's the dude. So that makes sense.
You want to see Pantoja in there?
Well, Pants can't fight right now.
Yeah. But, you know, until he's in there and he beats Pants.
Yeah, Pants is going to fight. Pants is going to fight for the belt the second he's ready to come back. So, like, of what's available, like, this is good. Like, he's the champion. Technically, he beat Pants. It was weird, but he does have a win over him. This makes sense. Yuri Olberg, it's the top 205ers. Like, these are the two dudes who should be fighting for the belt if Pereira's not fighting for the belt. Like, but even then, like, Pereira's shadow still looms and Pants' shadow still looms. And then we got Sean Strickland and Hamzat, and poor Nasruddin Imavov, like, is probably the dude who should be getting the title shot. Like, it's a whole year full. Like, and then we got Topuria and Gaethje and Gane and Pereira. Like, they're all like this. Every single one of them is like this. It's wild. It's absolutely insane. Crazy. Love this.
And it's going to be with Hamza. It's just like, is this his last fight in the middleweight division? Is he moving up after this? Like, if you're Imavov, he might not fight again till like the end of the year. And
he shouldn't. He shouldn't fight anybody else. He should sit and wait.
If he gets through this, so it's a rough one. All right, we were a little bit over on time, so I'm just going to ask one question here. So this Electron's just asking that MVP, if we made a list of the top 10 most recognized MMA fighters not in the UFC, contract, it would map pretty well to this card, the MVP card. To that end, I think they've done a great job for the current moment with what's available. They've also sent a powerful signal to the current UFC roster. There are now paydays available outside the UFC and MMA in America. Do you agree with that? Because I feel like that signal hasn't been sent to the fighter roster probably, God, a long time, right? Not since, Bellator, all that kind of stuff was around.
I guess it remains to be seen. Like, again, like
they
I
have
said
to
earlier,
have a successful card. You have to see that this is a success. And MVP has to be like, look, we're doing more of these MMA cards. We're going to do like another 3 this year or something to make it like a viable option.
I guarantee you, and I don't know this for a fact, but I truly would be stunned. I'd probably bet my house on it that there are at least a dozen ranked UFC fighters who hit up their managers after seeing Nate versus Perry and the rest of this card and are saying to themselves like, hey, if this is good, the UFC's not booking me for fights. Like, how can I get out of my contract and go fight here? There's no doubt in my mind. And depending on who the manager is, that manager could be like, yeah, let's work on this. Some would say, no, you're stuck. You're in the right place. You don't want to be anywhere else. So, yeah, but those texts flew around today. They had to have. They had to have. So this needs to be good. And this is why it's so important for MVP to match make the rest of the card appropriately. Because even if like Francis Philippe Lins is terrible, and it could happen. Like if we get to like round 3 of that fight, like we could be in Slog City. Ronda's got a clobber Gina. I don't think that fight's gonna get to the first minute. And then as long as Nate and Perry's fun, like, and then if you just load up the rest of them with like just good fun scraps, even if Ngannou Lins is bad, like so what? By the way, let me ask you this: should Nate Diaz, Mike Perry be the co-main event, not Ngannou?
I think so. I think that's the co-main event. I think Ngannou is a squash match, and it'll be just fun to see him like destroy a man and take his soul. It's kind of what the PFL should have done, but they overpriced him, so they couldn't really do it. And if they do Ronda versus Holm next and have Francis squash someone else, like I'm here just to watch Francis knock people out into. That's fun. Like, why not? I'd rather see him do that than not do anything.
You see, PFL, this is what you should have done the whole time. Like,
for sure.
I said like
so badly.
I remember talking to Jonathan Coachman on the town hall, and we're talking about Francis. Like, we don't want it. Like, we're paying Francis a lot of money. Like, we want to make sure he has the right fights. I'm like, what are you talking about? You have this dude under your contract. Like, throw him in there with literally anybody. Let him build a highlight reel. You can't use any of his footage to promote anything. All you have is the one win over Renan Fajeda. You can't use any of his UFC footage or any of that nature. Like, build this man a highlight reel. So, like, yeah, just get him in there. Like, if he beats Lins, okay, cool. What's Chase Sherman doing in 3 months? Get him in there.
Just
like,
get him knocking people out. And it's like the old Mike Tyson fights where you tune him during the week and he just knocked people out. And that's fun. And I'm down for that. And then you can have like Ronda versus Holly Holm or something. Blah, 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 blah,
Tate
blah.
again.
Tate's in there, Eddie Hall's in there, maybe down the track, and then you got this guy, that guy. Have fun. With Nate Diaz, though, it's a situation as well where it's like, like he might rematch Jake Paul in the PFL, all this bullshit. Like, what were you guys thinking? Should just got a Nate in. Like, what are you guys thinking? You could have had this fight with Mike Perry basically on a PFL. I think they just kind of they didn't get it, and now I think MVP's stolen that space from them with a much bigger spotlight. So anyway,
they do have a card this weekend, so let's see if Costello Von Steenis and Fabian Edwards can steal some headlines.
Dude, brutal, man, no chance. All right, man. Well, there he is, the best in the game, Mike Heck, MMA fighting. We've got London, obviously, all sorts of things happening on the channel. What do people need to look out for there? Because we've got a big pay-per-view coming up, the Miami pay-per-view. That's not fun. We got Izzy versus Joe Pyfer, a fight that I thought should have been kicking off the White House card. I thought that was a good fight for them to put on there, but whatever. It's in Seattle. What do you got coming up on the MMA fighting channel?
Well, I'll probably watch Izzy Pyfer, but I will be in Tampa for RAF 7. With Armin and Giorgio running it back, and Colby and Dylan Dennis, and all that fun. Plus,
Dude, that's gonna steal. That's gonna steal the week.
It's gonna smash it. Like every RAF event has done great for us, every single one. But the last two have just nuked it. Like just nuked it. It's crazy. And this one will be no different. I'm actually gonna be heading to Tampa a little bit earlier because Swing Rounds episode 3.
Ooh.
We are locked and loaded.
Derek
confirmed.
Lewis.
Nope, we did Derek Lewis already.
Okay.
We already had Mike Perry, so this will be a fun one. This will be an interesting one. This will be somebody. You will see the thumbnail and you'll see the video and be like, "Oh shit, I gotta watch this one." Especially you, Dennis. You know this individual pretty well, so it's gonna be a great time playing some golf in Tampa with this individual. So yeah, Jose's gonna join me for a couple days out there to help with that, and yeah, looking forward to getting back out and covering my 3rd consecutive RAF event because they're killing it, man. Whatever they're doing it right. So everyone should be kind of taking notes on how to do the damn thing from RAF.
I love the coverage of it as well. I feel like RAF would be pretty pumped about it. I like how you get in there. It's not as, like UFC, you can't speak to anyone. You can't do anything when you cover those events. And here it's like you're there, you're in the action. I saw you're interviewing a bunch of fun people and you're in the moment as you do it. And there's no one being like, you can't speak to him or get away from him. Or there's no just like one press conference for every single media person. And you got to sit through people asking, where are you going for the after party? Like you actually get to do your thing. So it's going to be awesome. Combine that with Armin and Giorgio and Armin's following and whatever's going to happen there. And who knows, maybe Hamzat's flying down for that one. Jump in. Are you kidding me? You're going to be in the middle of it, bro. It's going to be like hot action down there. Who knows who's going to show up? Dennis, what's going to happen with him? Like Dennis will be there. Will he even show up? Like imagine that.
I think he's going to show for this one. I think he's going to show. He might lose, but he's going to show. It'll be great. Maybe he'll try to guillotine
watch
Colby.
Dennis lose. Well, people will tune in just to watch Dennis lose. Like, are you kidding me? Like these guys are tapping into something big here.
Dude, Dennis will just say like, dude, I'm not a wrestler. Like, of course you won. Like he Dennis knows ball. Yeah. RF6 rocked after the pre-fight press conference. It was just like, hey, who do you want to talk to? I was like, I mean, I can't get them all, but like any of the MMA guys, it was just like, okay, here's one, boom. And it was like, oh, Giorgio's right here, boom. And like Giorgio's done. It's like, okay, here's Clay Guida. Oh, it was like literally like 7 dudes back to back to back to back. I just basically had time to like shut the camera off and turn it back on. It was just rifling. It was awesome. Like that's the rush, Dennis. You know how it is, like being on the road. Like
that's why you do it, brother. That's why. That's why I don't go to most of the events anymore. Like I don't want to sit there in a room. And just the worst part about doing the UFC ones is they're there and you see them there, but you just have no access to them, like the guest fighters, the main fighters, the prelim fight. Or maybe they'll give you a couple of prelim guys.
Yeah,
how great.
You see the Hawkeye going on, like, don't you dare do it.
But then it's like someone with like 20,000 followers on Instagram. Strangely, like some kid now has like 20 minutes with. You're like, what the hell's going on? I don't get it, but whatever. It's a different time. There he is, Mike Heck, MMA Fighting. I appreciate you for joining me, my friend.